freedom, freedom, just for freedom.
Freedom, this one, freedom. Our youth came. Freedom.
Nanu second, and I can use that. One of the Kaleba, Nanu Helene, Nanu Belabale, and I can.
When I close my eyes and I open my eyes, I see hope is coming. I see change is coming because I see cheddar. He came for the youth, and the youth are ready for him, and we are going to vote for him. No matter anything that happens, we are going to vote for him because we see change and we see hope.
Ghana, and that's why Mama and Ghana. Yamia don't see a bessie demand, and that's why
maybe in a fisherman. I am my neck on an empire. In your farm with you, am I in your factories? Me buy a Jantuana de Bremo. On my chance, now 2 million one day I was to say no. It me fancy see no maybe, and crash will be cheaper and no more iron woman. Also, at me, I bet Yabi be papa, will be dear chile.
You said your full dear pa and ye piano. Ghana, you will be out there. Intimate strong, I could draw our fan, crash I could do. A corn son on your pocket one. Messi, see, I could tell the show.
Dear, Yamame, Amame, Akudia Tariashe, Amayafe Jame, Yadukunim, Yadukunim.
My son, what I say, really bad.
Could the Electoral Commission disqualify the independent candidate nomination form of Kwame Bediako against this 2024 incoming presidential elections? As it appears, they don't want to see him as the president of the Republic of Ghana. What will be the faith and the reaction of the youth if that happens?
The chairperson of the Electoral Commission, Madame Charlotte Osei, says the 13 political parties who were disqualified failed to meet the criteria set by the Commission. At a media briefing in Accra, the EC chair said the Commission can disqualify any candidate if any of the criteria are not met in line with Regulation 72 of CI 94.
The Commission says the candidates were disqualified because the nomination form were not properly signed by the candidate. The statutory declaration is not properly executed. The Commission also indicates that the aspirants' filing fees were not presented in the requested amount and less than 2 registered voters per district signed the nomination forms. In some cases, the Commission added that the nomination forms were not properly signed by all the subscribing voters and the candidates or the designated vice president nominee does not meet the legal requirements of the said office.
Now, the key criteria for presidential candidates to meet are that the forms you submit must be signed by the candidate. The forms must also be signed by a total of 432 registered voters across the country, because you need 2 voters to sign in every administrative district.
Obi a obeye the papa obeye obonye no. Esa twa no ko no ano so. Na mo hwasem. Evra 2016, 2020, 2012 when my son me kata nwie na menim secretary go ho ntime nwie. Ntime amete me ho asesan. 2016 me bibi awie, say to say yi me free. Ansa no be yi me free mo no say je ma ha ma na ka che ne say. Me ni so adi hu na me de ba no. Same ye me 2016 ba wono wonya aba no. Enti wonyi me free, woni say to say ya adwene mo yi me free. Me see free port, free education. Afa central for station bi amam ka. Afa insure free, kanya free. Bibia be yes I had to say gade to krom. Enti no sa na ma we nyina me de banti, e no he da ka se yi free na yi nipa bebre ka ho ye free. Na so nyango pa fa nche no so ko se de o ye le bone pa o so yi o so free. Ti nyango pa yi o so free ma ni ho se do se yi no wo so nsi fom. Enti na da bia be kasa. Ese de Muhammad de wo bua kwa Ghana ko nya pa de to sisu bia mu da fe se de wa ye no. Wa nya de. Enti de mo ka no aba mo se se. Me ye bibia wi de so fa kwa mo ne so yi ni free. Enti na ma ka che mo.
See, and for the PPP.
The Progressive People's Party went to court first for the court to quash the decision of the EC and disqualify Dr. Papa Kisindu. Second, they wanted the court to also order the EC to allow them take the form, look at the 2 pages they made the mistakes that the AC is talking about, and correct those mistakes, and resubmit it so that the AC will consider it and now submit it. Then put Dr. Papa Basindum on the ballot paper.
So these are all the requirements. I also Nana Kwame Bediako to me fulfill it, and all those who are going to participate in the incoming elections are supposed to fulfill those kind of requirements. Because 2016, the reason why most of them were disqualified for contesting was because of not following the rules and the regulations that has been set by the Electoral Commission. Until as to they followed or they didn't follow, that is up to the Electoral Commission to decide. So it's going to base on the credential of the Electoral Commission. It's going to base on the approval or the decision of the Electoral Commission to either allow or disqualify Nana Kwame Bediako'S application nomination form. And this is a probability. So to avoid all of these obstacles, Kwame Bediako is supposed to take his time in between the time frame that has been set for him and the other candidate to submit their nomination forms. It's enough time for them to go through the form, do due diligence to the form, fill it out completely, step by step, to make sure that you don't leave room for the Electoral Commission to disqualify you, because that is the wish and the desire of the Electoral Commission, to get the new force out of the ballot papers. And I have said it time without number, say, on my part, I will never trust and believe the Electoral Commission until, say, the new force is on the ballot papers when we go to vote. Otherwise, I will never believe and trust the gimmicks and the tactics of the Electoral Commission. Inti Nana Kwame Bediako, emra ya womu very crucial, very important to even the registration of the political party. This time is the moment, is the time the Electoral Commission, if they will harm you and harm the youth and harm the new force, will use that form to disqualify you. And there is nothing we can do about it. So they've given you enough time for you to prepare all these forms and submit it. Do all you have to do, because the young people of Ghana are strongly behind you. We are strongly behind you. Forms way Nana Kwame Bediako, yes, the young people of Ghana are on their knees begging you to fill out these forms without mistakes, without errors. Take your time. We have ample time to complete this form. Make sure what is supposed to be done is done, because we need to do everything in our power. We need to do everything possible on our part as the new forms, as the youth, as the young people of Ghana, to get Nana Kwame Bediako onto the seat. So what do you have to do on your part? Please do it with the energy, with the force that are strongly behind you. We are not going back. We are marching forward, and we are winning these elections, and we are taking the seat. The youth of Ghana is prepared. The youth in Ghana are ready to march alongside with you, Nana Kwame Bediako. Cheddar, we are ready and prepared to march alongside with you. There are 2 major streams of people who are following you, who are strongly behind you. Those are called the regiment, those who are prepared to lay down their lives to make sure that Nana Kwame Bediako gets to the seat as president of Ghana, and they will go the extra mile for Nana Kwame Bediako and for the new force, because this group of people have had it to the neck. The youth are suffering. We are going through a lot of pain. You to need bleeding Ghana. And no more idea, or my no more idea. Timodenia Brona she and pain for no, and I'm a youth in every say. Those are called the regiment, and are you ready, prepared, alert to even lay down their life to see Nana Kwame Bediako? And those are called the public interest group. We are those people who are into policies. On my part, education, the educational reform, Nana Kwame Bediako is the most important, is dear to me. Say education system I Ghana is scam no yes education system no say graduate be from university back onto the street hustling and selling Kobe Mamoni Chalawete. Young girl who are coming out of the universities are back onto the street selling orange, pure water, ice water on the street, and that is the fruit of the education system that we have in Ghana. Cheddar, Nana Kwame Bediako, please, this is dear to us. The education system has to be structured, designed to favor the youth, that when we come out, we are already entrepreneurs. We know how to make money. We know how to produce, knowing that our leaders could do better to resolve all this, and they are not doing it, refusing to do it, gives us the mandate for us to demand a change of government without any hesitation or without any hindrance.
Actually decided to come myself. You need to actually get a code and go and access the form, but I'm very excited to get the forms and start the process. And I want to say thank you to all the media teams. You've been very graceful and supportive in following me in places that I go and all of that. I think it's interesting times are coming. This election will be very interesting. I'm probably an independent leader for the new force, but I feel like it's not about the independence at this moment. Enye no pe ebi ameka twi nso kakra. Se enye no pe ene ade a mehwe nemum no mehwe se enidaso bi a efri yadwempa bi enti a ama ye ka se ye kwa kodi sa tibia we so abeye edikanfo ewo man mu nti eno ade a yehwe so fa at my brain so.
Okay, so one thing that became a concern, probably not to some of you, but to some of your colleagues who are seeking to also contest this election. When the Electoral Commission came up with the filing fee, the amount or the cost of the filing fee, the 100,000 for the presidential aspirants or candidates, it was greeted with a lot of concern, saying that it is too much, it is hindering, they are using money to cripple some people from, taking up leadership roles. What's your bite on that?
I mean, we should accept and understand that politics in Africa, especially in our country, has become extremely expensive. And it will take a new phase of generations to let the money come out of it and let the true leadership prevail itself. So for me, I think it's going to be a hit. And people that are ready to go in to really make a change should find whatever possible means to be able to pay for this form. It's a form that is more expensive than your passport. I don't know whether it's going to England or heaven, but it's quite expensive. And like I said, we need to accept that politics has become expensive. We should find a way to make it economical.
Right, so picking the form means officially we should expect you launching your policy document or maybe kickstart your campaign. When should we expect these two important activities?
Absolutely, very good question. All of that is coming, and I wanted to say to Ghanaians, thank you very much for your patience. I want to say to you that a true policy is not easy to put together. And of course, I'm not going to come out with anything cut and paste like we've seen in the past, which is full of promises that hasn't been implemented. I think manifesto should be implemented. It shouldn't be an album or a true storybook that enlightens your mind but takes away your hope. We are bringing a developmental agenda, and the policies in there would actually benefit the youth of this country, the women and men of this country, and how to create a workforce, a new labor force, to change the country's economy and its developmental agenda. This is probably part of the elements and things that you need to develop a nation or build a nation.
Finally, on my part, I think initially you had wanted to form a political party and you've not been able to be granted that license to enable you carry through with your vision of forming a political party. Now you are going to contest as independent presidential candidate, while a party like PNP has been given the provisional certificate to go ahead. You started the process long before they put in their request, but it seems they have, their request has yielded some kind of impact. How do you feel about the whole thing? You've been denied the opportunity to have your own political party.
Well, first of all, I don't think I've been denied. I think I've been delayed. But one thing I also believe is that destiny can be delayed, but it can't be denied. And that's why I'm standing here today talking about my independent candidative moment. I think we shouldn't let the party or the independents determine what we're going to implement and what we're going to change in this political narrative and principles of this country that would build a better nation for us. I think it should be the drive, the passion, the vision, to make a change. And we should look at this more as a revolutionary movement than a political party. Although the Constitution speaks about having a party to become a part of a government, but it also gives you a chance that you can independently become a part of that. So that 9 months delay, when it was supposed to be 7 days of hearing back from them, they still came back giving me the provisional license. But 9 months was such a long time that I couldn't use the rest of the 3 months to say that I am going to form that same party. And for that reason, I want to rest assure Ghanaians that I am very, very confident and I'm very, very content that, Ghanaians giving me this opportunity it suppresses the fact that I am standing as an independent candidate. But you count the most. You are more important for me. Without you, I don't think my purpose and my vision will become a reality. So I look at the people, I look at the nation, I look at what they need, what they want, and how I can be a help of that, how I can contribute to that. And that alone gives me hope.
I have one important question for you. Just yesterday or today, Info Analytics came up with a survey indicating that your candidature, you'll be able to garner only 1% in the Ashanti region in the polls. What is your reaction to that?
Oh, I mean, look, numbers don't lie, but people can always write whatever they want to write. The only time you see that numbers don't lie is when the end is justifying the means. Okay? And I would say that whether you 1%, 5%, as long as it's not 0%, we're going somewhere. So you might start the race at the last bottom, but it's a marathon. People will get tired along the way. Some people will fall off. Some people might not make it to the end. Let's focus on getting to the end. It's the tunnel. At the end of the tunnel, there's a light. Definitely.
So
Thank you.
Quick one.
Well, your idea or vision is not unique if it's repeated or if it's stolen by someone and is used. I think that we're all humans, but we were all created uniquely with different purposes. However, when we come together with all our purposes, it becomes a collaborative effort. And that's when we get a different result. So I think that the vision I have for Ghana and for this nation is completely different from what I'm seeing from others.
Okay, to add up to that, I know recently it came up, I don't know if you're aware, that you are going to partner or take Samia Nkrumah as a running mate. Now, as to whether it's true or not, I don't want to speak to that. But are we expecting any popular face as part of the campaign team or as a running mate?
I don't think popularity is what is just going to do the job. I think the enigma, the stigma, the greatness, the readiness, the mindset, the mentality, the courage of that person is what is really going to make them a matching pair. So, not to call names, but remember, the man in the mask have a lot of people behind him to unveil.
Also in the mask.
Thank you. Thank you very much.